How's it going, retro video game enthusiasts? It's Matty Q again with Retro Takeout. Tonight we're going to be playing Rockman 3 for the Famicom. And one thing we notice in our videos is the channel's called Retro Takeout. You never see us eating any food. So Joe's going to eat Taco Bell, and I'm going to be playing Mega Man 3 basically. So here we go. So this is the Japanese version of this cart. It should play pretty similar to Mega Man 3. And then, just like the Mega Man 2 playthrough that I did, the most important thing in this game is knowing the path through the Robot Masters. So you got 8 new Robot Masters here, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. So we're going to find out what those are. So right now I'm going to show you what I think is the most optimal path through them. So we're actually going to start with Top Man.
I like to start with Hard Man, but that's just the way I like to run it.
So we got a new set of enemies here. We got these lug nuts that are going to come in and attack you. And then these guys, which are a total pain in the ass. They like this jumping enemy, and it sits really low, so you can't shoot it right away from a standing position. And they'll follow wherever you go. So we'll take care of the top dispenser there, climb up the stairs. Now, one thing you'll notice in this game that you didn't have in Mega Man 2 is this is a slide maneuver. So there's going to be a lot of tight crevices to get through in this one. So basically by pushing down in the jump button, you'll engage a slide. And this actually will help you travel faster through the levels as well. Another new feature is you have like a robotic dog companion named Rush. So you're going to get 3 phases of them. You start off with this one, which is a coil. So this will help you get up to higher platforms. He basically acts like a spring. So we'll grab an extra life here right off the bat. These guys look familiar.
These guys have been around since Mega Man 1. Gutsman stage.
I don't think they moved in Gutsman stage though. They just stood stationary and shot you.
Yeah, the same enemy though. I always wondered why there were different animals like cats and wolves and things like that in the different levels. There's suggestive background. What's growing inside of Top Man's level? Nobody knows.
Yeah, usually the stages have like some kind of theme to the Robot Master. This one doesn't make any sense at all. Taking a lot of damage early. What Mega Man level wouldn't be complete without some kind of spike death trap? So there's that slide we talked about again. This level's fairly short. This is like the last obstacle right before we go and fight Top Man here. So you got these a little bit of platforming here, and we're on to our first boss. So the reason we picked Top Man, I mean, you gotta mash through the buttons to do, any significant damage, but he's got a pretty predictable pattern, and he doesn't jump around through the stage like the rest of the robots seem to do. I'm still having issues with the timing, but I think we're gonna get through it. And he's done. So that was relatively painless for a starting boss. Getting started in a Mega Man game is always the hardest part. After that, once you have a weapon and you realize, you go on to another Robot Master and realize what their weakness is, it's usually pretty easy. With the exception of this next one. So we just picked up Top Spin. The thing about Top Spin is it's not a projectile weapon. Basically, you'll jump in the air and you'll just start spinning like a top. And you have to crash into your enemies. Now, when you crash into your enemies, a lot of times you're getting hit along with them getting hit. So it's kind of counterintuitive. So this is Shadow Man. And actually we're going to get our first glimpse at Proto Man. Proto Man's going to show up in a couple of stages here. He's kind of like a mid-level boss. He has the same pattern, so he's going to jump and shoot at you. Just slide at him once he gets close to you. And he takes a lot of pea shooter hits. There's a considerable amount of button mashing in this game compared to the other ones.
Fun little spoiler is that Matt actually gave him his official name. As an enemy, he's known as Breakman, but he is undoubtedly, this game's been out forever. If you don't know that Breakman is Proto Man, you're obviously living in the past, so, or well, 30 years. This is probably my favorite music, as far as Mega Man Rockman 3 is concerned. People argue that, between the music of 2 and 3, and I think they're both pretty spot on as far as Mega Man is concerned. They all had their ups and downs, they all had their, ones that were your favorite, but I just like the beat and the tone and progression of this one the most. But some people say that any Mega Man 2 soundtrack is better than any Mega Man 3, and I was like, yeah, you're entitled to your opinion.
Okay, so this is like the last tough platforming section before we get to Shadow Man. So you got these guys dropping from the ceiling, and they have like a parachute to them. So the idea is if I was to jump to that next block, that guy would fall on me basically, and I'd have no way to shoot him. So I kind of do like a psych out move where I jump forward and jump back just to engage him, so that way I can take care of him from a distance. And one last platform here. We got a couple of dragonflies. Alright, so this is the part of the game that can go really, really good or really, really bad. If I run out of top spin here, I'm probably going to have to game over and continue. So wish me luck. And we got him. Alright, we can continue. Not an easy fight. As you can see, every time I hit him, he seemed to hit me.
Yeah, you only have like one or two more and you were done.
Probably one more hit. Okay, so we got the Shadow Blade, and we got our first upgrade to Rush, which is a Rush Marine. He only comes in handy in a few sections. Basically, it turns into a submarine, and you'll be able to drive through like a water stage. The Shadow Blade's kind of like the Metal Blade from Mega Man 2. It's kind of like a multi-directional weapon, except it's basically a shuriken. Okay, so we're gonna go to Sparkman next. Sparkman's a giant spark plug. He's the one that probably looks the closest to his name. There's some challenging platforming in this level.
You can only hit them while the eye is open. So you kind of shoot them and duck and shoot them and duck.
Yeah, they take a lot of hits. Okay, so here's our first tough platforming section. You notice the spikes on the ceiling, And once you jump on these platforms, they're actually going to shoot you upward into the ceiling, so we got to do this pretty quickly. I usually just damage boost through that section because there's a big power pill up here that we can grab with our rush coil. I always thought that was a cool enemy. Not very tough. Not, I mean, really will just follow you if you don't kill him right away. Just enough to be a nuisance, really. And it's a common enemy throughout a lot of these stages. Okay, so we're actually gonna switch to our Shadow Blade here in a second. We're going to take advantage of that multi-directional shot. That just makes that part so much easier. And we're on to Spark Man. So he's pretty weak. I mean, you can really just mash your way through it and take as much damage as possible, and you're just gonna outlast him. So we got the Spark Shock. Next robot master that we're going to take on is Magnet Man, which I always thought was strange because you would think electricity would make a magnet stronger. These guys are cool.
It's like you're made of metal or something.
Those magnet enemies, all they really do is just inconvenience you.
Yeah, but if they inconvenience you over a pit, you would die. You're on a break, man.
Yep, same method.
After he's taken the required number of hits, he will let you pass.
These guys are fun with the heat-seeking missiles. And a bonus life. That's good. So this section right here, you just gotta kind of wait till these guys put themselves in a hole and then you can go through scot-free. And these are magnets that will actually draw you toward them. It's gonna make for some difficult platforming in this section right here. And also, what Mega Man wouldn't be complete without a disappearing block section?
I love these sections. They're literally magnify systems.
This could be challenging here. switch to Shadow Blade quickly here, just to take out this guy. Instead of trying to fight with him. Alright, so we got one more. One more of those things. What would you even call that?
I don't know, it's a grenade launcher.
It's a nipple.
Yeah, it's a rocket thing. It shoots missiles. Kind of looks like a nipple.
So this is Magnet Man. He's got kind of like does like a 2-hop toward you.
He has the magnet that'll draw you toward him, and then he will jump around and shoot the 3 magnets at you. So very predictable pattern. Just play keep away and shoot him.
Yeah, he's actually pretty weak to this weapon. Some people actually start with the Magnet Man stage because if you know the pattern, he's pretty easy with the pea shooter. I usually wait, and I take the path that I've taken here. So we got the Magnet Missile, and we're going to go on to Hard Man stage. Joe says that he actually starts on this stage, which I guess you could do. This guy's pretty tough. I mean, he takes a lot of hits. Alright, so this first section, this is something I learned just recently. With these bees, all you have to do is walk off the screen and they'll disappear. Because they have that sack that they drop, and like a whole bunch of little bees come on the screen and chase you, and it's kind of like the equivalent of the bird that drops the eggs in Mega Man 2. It's just another like nuisance thing to worry about, but you can take a lot of damage quick from it. So we're just going to avoid it altogether. Alright, so this is the Magnet Missile. So once this guy opens his eye again, I'm going to fire at him, and the magnet will just attract to him, basically. One of those missiles uses an awful lot of your weapon energy, so you gotta you're gonna want to use it pretty sparingly, because we're gonna use a lot of it on the end boss to this level. So you can use the Magnet Missile for this section. I like to use the Shadow Blade just because I'm not going to be using it later to shoot these gorillas here. Because if you get too close to them, they'll drop off the screen and start hopping around. And basically, the rule of thumb in any Mega Man or Rockman game is it's better to get shot than get touched. You're going to take a lot less damage getting shot by something than actually touching an enemy, which is strange, but that's just the way it is. So anything you can do to not run into an enemy, if it means like taking, a bullet from them, do that as opposed to touching them. These bulldozer robots are pretty common throughout a lot of these levels too. You shoot the top half, takes 3 hits with the pea shooter. You want to go this way to grab this E-tank. This game's actually pretty generous with the amount of E-tanks that you can get.
Yeah, you can hold up to 9. Of course, I think in 2 you can only hold 4.
Yeah, you can grab an awful lot of them. So there's the bees I was talking about. So they're just gonna follow me until I take off here.
But like any other enemy, they do random drops too, so you can spam them.
So we gotta fight Proto Man here again, and this part's kind of tough because of the way the positioning of the screen is. So we're actually probably gonna have to use the E-tank here, which I don't want to do, but. He's easier in other facets of the game where you got just a level playing field, but that part's tough. So Hardman has a pretty easy pattern. So he's going to fire his arms at you and then jump up and try and crush you. Again, it's better to get shot than touched. So as long as you follow that pattern and try and avoid him at all costs, he's pretty easy. Don't go in and just start spraying magnet missiles, because he has like an invincibility period. You just gotta kind of almost do it at the same rhythm that I was doing it at to make sure that you're really optimizing your shots. Okay, so at this point we need to go to Snake Man stage. Now Snake Man, you're just gonna really use the pea shooter because he's weak to needle, but Needle Man's weak to Gemini laser, and Gemini Man is weak to the search snake that we're gonna get in this level. So it's easier to kill Snake Man with a pea shooter than the other two. So that's why we're gonna go here first. And this level's just a bunch of snakes.
This level actually makes sense.
Yeah.
As opposed to some of the other ones.
Just a big snake.
Big snake, yeah. Lots of snakes.
Lots of snakes. Little snakes, big snakes. This level's Indiana Jones' nightmare.
I hate snakes.
Why did it have to be snakes?
Yeah, we've been on the Harrison kick. Star Wars.
Can't go wrong with Han Solo. Blade Runner's a great movie.
Yeah, they're currently coming out with another one, so we'll see how it is.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, well, yeah. He makes a cameo in it, you kinda have to.
Blade Runner looks good by today's standards.
Yeah. This rebooting idea, and then bringing in an old actor to show it off again. It's kind of cliche, but it's interesting.
Is Hollywood out of ideas? Maybe. Go up to the right here first, because you got these mystery boxes, and sometimes they're really good, and sometimes they're not so good, but it's definitely worth checking. There's no consequence to checking.
Yeah, sometimes you little key energies, and you're like, dang.
Right, and then sometimes you get a E-tank and an extra life, or
2 E-tanks.
2 E-tanks,
Which
or
is just awesome.
whatever. That one's worth getting. Some of them you can take or leave. These guys are cool too. So they'll vault over you and then run back at you. Kind of like definitely a different enemy. Tough jump there. I think this game's a lot more generous with like the actual items and levels, but not as generous with enemy item drops as Mega Man 2. Alright, so we're getting pretty close now. This part I kind of like to give a little hop to get onto these platforms, because ever so often the game will just glitch out and throw you off the platform into the pit next to you, so kind of just better safe than sorry.
Kind of reminds me of Pyramid stage from Mega Man 2.
A little, yeah.
Last time. We are playing this in the actual Famicom cart, so because we are official retro gamers, not we're trying to be all cliche hippie or anything like that, but emulators are right or don't do it at all kind of thing.
That's bad.
So again, this is one of those instances where it's better to get shot than touched. It's a very, very predictable pattern, so as long as you can keep away.
I think we're gonna spawn right here. Alright, we'll try again.
Jump back and forth, shoot your snakes, jump back and forth.
Oh, you bastard. This is not good. Fuck!
There you go.
I never have such a difficult time with him.
It does kind of stress the importance of going in the rock, paper, scissors method, but sometimes, you know, you gotta cut your losses for one enemy to make another one easier. So, you know, there is no right or wrong way to play this game. You kind of choose your own adventure.
Moving on. So now we're on to Gemini Man.
It's probably my second favorite music in the game. We're in space because, you know, reasons. Penguins. Penguins in space.
This is another level that really doesn't make any sense. It looks cool. I don't get it.
1989. Good visuals.
This first section is entirely too long. Need that.
Yeah, it gets repetitive after a while.
Need that too. Alright, another Proto Man fight.
He's gonna whistle. And
then he's gonna disappear.
He's gonna blow some stuff up.
Yeah, there's there's no real way for me to get that. If I had the last part of the rush utility, which is basically turns into a jet platform, I could just fly up there and get it. Alright, so normally I don't bother going after this E-Tank, or this mystery box thing here, but we just lost 3 lives on the Snake Man, so I'm gonna take a minute and just see what's in it. More times than not, it's like junk, but maybe we'll get lucky. Oh. Fortune smiles on us.
It's good for legendary.
Yeah, it must be. Alright, so we're pretty much back to where we were. Yeah, these things will just follow you if you let them. Kind of definitely a weird enemy. Yeah, it's a penguin dispenser. Capcom always did a really good job having really detailed sprites, all different shapes and sizes.
Colors, they really stress their colors too. One of the reasons why Mega Man was blue was because the NES's color palette was actually had more blues than any other on the spectrum.
Alright, so we can do this section just jumping across, but I'm gonna show you what the Rush Marine does. So you jump in, and it starts depleting your weapon energy as soon as you start driving it. But you can jump out of the water here, grab some additional weapon health for it. And we're coming down to the wire here. So I'm gonna jump up here. We just got 2 E-Tanks, which is awesome. Probably gonna need the... Nope, we're good. I'm gonna try and beat Gemini Man without using one, but we'll see. So we're at Gemini Man. But there was only one of them when we got the introduction to his stage. Well, that's not gonna stay true for long. So as soon as he fills his energy up, do like a quick slide, because there's gonna be 2 of them that jump out. So you go on and get ahead of him, otherwise he's just gonna keep going in circles around the screen. And just pepper him with Search Snake until you defeat him. So he's a pretty easy boss fight. Much easier than the Snake Man boss fight, apparently. And we're rewarded with Gemini Laser. So it's a laser beam, and it'll actually bounce off the walls a couple of times. So it's a good weapon and a bad weapon at the same time, as you'll see with the last Robot Master here, Needle Man. So you got these porcupine enemies that are gonna fire some of their spikes at you and then roll toward you. You can never quite kill them, it seems like, when they're up above you. They take quite a bit of hits from your pea shooter. So I kind of just wait for him to roll and then jump out of the way. Do you know what those things are called, Joe?
Which ones?
The the shell guys? Or are we just gonna go with shell guy?
I think it's, I mean, everything has a name.
Yeah.
But we'd have to like bust out the original manuals and things like that just to find out what these things are called.
Yeah.
I don't speak Japanese, so I can't read the manual. It's just kind of a moon language to both of us. So, as much as for all the reasons, it just doesn't make sense there. But fun trivia thing for you guys in the comments section. You can always find out what each enemy is called. Post it for everyone.
Alright, so a couple more of these,
Hammer throw guys.
yeah, hammer throw guys.
He was upset that he was not selected for the Olympics.
Yeah, so if you get on this plane right here where you're kind of half on the ladder and half off, you can stay there and hit him, but he can't hit you. So that's what I did there.
You using the level to your advantage.
Yep. Alright, so this is the last of the Robot Masters, which is Needleman. So the Gemini laser, you kind of gotta...
You can point blank him, but as you see, Matt can't shoot another one until that one leaves the
Yeah,
zone.
I'm kind of defenseless until that thing takes off. So that was actually a pretty good boss fight. He's gonna take 4 of those. But yeah, you gotta make sure you hit him, otherwise you're dead in the water. Alright, so we got all the powers that we need to go on to Wily's castle. So we got the needle cannon and the rush jet. The rush jet's a really cool utility that we're going to use a lot right here. So in previous games, as soon as you beat the Robot Masters, you got to go on to Wily's castle. This one is different. So we need to revisit 4 of the stages that we've already done. And there's going to be some familiar enemies in this. So you don't have to do this in any particular order, so I just kind of go around the clock here and start with Sparkman. So the level's going to be very similar to Sparkman's stage. There's going to be a few changes. So that ladder in the beginning that was there is no longer there. So there's going to be different enemies, there's going to be a different layout. You'll see.
It's going to force you to use a lot of the weapons you acquired, including the rush.
So here's a good example of the Gemini laser working properly. There's no real way to... well, yeah, you can probably shoot him with a shadow.
But you're limited.
Yeah. Alright. So this part's already different. You got these wheel platforms. Now it's kind of hard to see which way they're going. So you just kind of get a feel for them. I just kind of quick jump on them, so that way I'm not on them too long. Especially for this section. And actually for this section, if you're really not feeling it, you can just fly over it.
That's why you have it.
Yeah, better safe than sorry.
That used to, when we were little, we used to play around inside that thing, because if you just move the directional back and forth, you'll be able to just coast back and forth through this thing forever.
Okay, so doors equal boss fight. So who are we gonna fight? And it's Metal Man from Metal Man, or Mega Man and Rockman 2. So with your newly acquired weapons, you gotta try and figure out the weaknesses of the previous Robot Masters to these weapons. So that was Metal Man, and we used the magnet missile on him, and it worked pretty effectively. Alright, so now we got a spike tunnel drop. It's much easier than the one in Wily's Castle in Mega Man 2, as you can see. Like,
well, Bubble Land stage. That's where we saw that first. So, Mega Man 2 and 3 kind of not obviously they're sequels of each other, but they feel, they have a lot of the same themes. They're recycling the robot masters. They're, quintessentially two of the best Mega Man Rock Band games that ever existed. So,
I don't know why I did that. I've never done that before.
That's right. Okay, let's sprite that going on. And it's too much. The thing with the Famicom and the NES was if there was too much going on the screen, too many sprites, it slowed the processor down immensely, which could work to your advantage, but it also could limit your options if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, so basically there's 4 levels. There's going to be 2 robot masters per level. All of them are from Mega Man 2. So we just took on Metal Man, now we're going to take on Quick Man. And unfortunately we don't have a time stopper like we did in the first game, so we just got to pepper them with snakes. And this sprite's way bigger than Quick Man was, so he's tough to avoid. So you're going to take a considerable amount of damage. So we're just going to use an E-Tank here, just to be safe. Alright, so that's done. Next is the Needle Man stage. The next one that I do anyway. We're gonna do some cool stuff in this one.
An interesting fact, like you said, the layouts are different. They've gone from day to night on Needle Man stage, so it's cool to see that they're not just recycling the level, they're actually making it as a new experience, but still utilizing a similar mechanic within the level.
Should I go for it? I should go for it. Seriously?
You totally hit it, it just reflowed.
Alright, enough out of you. Alright, the thing about the Rush Jet is you're only going to deplete energy when you're standing on it, so like right now it's not doing anything, so I'm going to kind of jump out here as far as I can. Because we're going to need a whole lot of it in the next section. Alright, same thing. This is kind of a cool little trick that we learned from the previous game, is just to get enemies to respawn to see if you can get some item drops. So I want to try and fill up with energy as opposed to using an E-Tank here. If I can. I should be okay on it, because there's a big weapon fill at the end of this airman fight. So you're gonna want to use the spark shock on him. Same thing as before, the tornadoes kind of appear in a random pattern. Alright, so that was a pretty good fight. We didn't lose too much energy there. So we're gonna go out here, and there's that. You want to make sure that this is full for this section because you're gonna be flying over nothing for a very long time. So as you can see, I mean, there is nothing on that side. So there's going to be quite a bit of slowdown in this section too, because there's going to be enemies dropping from the sky. So you want to... I like to stay as low as possible to avoid the parachute things, and then if there's a dragonfly that comes up, I'll go up high. And you can shoot while you're here too. But the most important thing is do not run out of rush jet power. And there's pickups along the way.
No, what he did there is he just continued the rush jet to bring it to the other side, just because it would be easier than trying to run him around and then bring it back. So
Yeah, totally.
use the game to your advantage.
Yep. Alright, so for this section I always found it easy just to jump back on the rush jet to take that thing out. Otherwise you do a considerable amount of jumping and he starts throwing the shell guys at you and it's just a big energy waster.
The weak point of those guys is the cross or T or whatever you call it in their head, so that's what you're all teaming in with that giant
Let's see if we can get a couple quick item drops here. No. Kinda low on health. There's a big energy pellet at the end here, but I don't think that's gonna be enough, and we're gonna want a considerable amount of energy for the last fight. Now we'll see what happens. Alright, so another one of those really big shell guys. We'll take him out. We might be okay. It's not the end of the world if we have to use an E-tank. Alright, so we're fighting Crash Man, and this is the first time you're going to see the hard knuckle, which is a really powerful weapon, but also a really slow weapon. Yeah, you can kind of control it once it's in the air by pushing up or down to kind of, it'll direct where it goes. But you're pretty vulnerable when you're doing that.
It's a really slow but really powerful weapon because it just punches them perfectly.
It works in the same fashion. You'll see later on. It works in kind of the same fashion as the Crash Bomber did in Rockman 2 and Mega Man 2, where if there's a breakable barrier, that's the weapon that's going to do it.
Punch you.
We're in the danger zone.
One thing I didn't like about that avenue is that even if you killed him and he was able to loose one of those things, it still went off regardless of the enemy, whereas most enemies, if you still did whatever power or thing it was utilizing,
Yeah.
it would cancel out.
The good thing, you don't take a lot of damage from it. I mean, it looks like it would be way more devastating than it really is. I mean, you're probably losing like maybe 1 health bar, maybe 2. Yeah, we can get it. So, on to the second viewing of the Gemini Man stage. More of these tadpole or sperm eggs or whatever you want to call them. I mean, that mystery box is buried in there, so I don't... It's gonna take way too long to dig through it. And we're actually... We're doing much better on lives than we were originally, so...
Really, it's tough to come up with Snake Man just because you kept running into you, so, we can't stress enough about, take the bullet versus taking the head, because, I don't know if it was like a mechanic of theirs or something they always developed was, but if you took, physical damage as Mega Man, it just was worse than taking the actual enemy's attack.
Okay, so on to Flashman, and Flashman's weak to needles. The needle weapon is it's rapid fire, so if you hold it down, it'll just machine gun him. So we took a pretty good amount of damage there. There's a good little section coming up to to farm up for energy and weapon health, because these little guys are gonna drop from the ceiling in a section just repeatedly. So we'll pepper them and hopefully be able to strengthen up pretty quickly. Alright, so we got another marine stage here. It's pretty short. And it's always weird when you can jump with a vehicle that's not normally supposed to jump. Yeah, those things are pretty much harmless. Well, if you run into them, they're dangerous, but I still like to shoot them because sometimes, like, the empty part of them will still drop stuff. Yep, so... In a minute here, I just like to paint myself in this corner. And you can pick up a lot of enemy drops. It's kind of a slow go, but again, it's better than wasting an E-tank. Yeah, that's helpful. Those guys usually don't drop big energy pills.
I found with a lot of Mega Man-esque enemies is that it's completely random on what they drop or don't drop.
Yeah.
So that's how you can get extra lives in here. So if you sit here long enough, you can just get yourself all filled up with all of your energy, all of your weapon energy, and max out your lives.
Yeah. We'll give it another minute, and if we don't get anything, we'll continue. But I mean, look for stuff like this if you're really low on energy. It's a good pinch point to get some items. And maybe one good more propeller drop. Oh, great. we're just gonna go. We'll probably be alright. I say that, now we're gonna get fucked.
Regional differences with Rockman versus Mega Man 2. That section there with the water is actually gone. The spray mechanics and the moon gravity is still there, but the water itself is actually removed So, yeah, just different things. You'll notice too with the Rockman 3 beginning credit, or the title screen is different, but then if you look back at the section there, it says Rockman 3 in the Mega Man 3 logo. So just weird, Easter eggs that they tossed in the game for, just regional differences in the game. So, be on the lookout for that. So if you're playing the Mega Man 3, you'll see it says Mega Man 3, and here it says Rockman 3 because we're at the Japanese release. So just different stuff.
Yep, so we fought Bubble Man there. Bubble Man was weak to the Shadow Blade, which is pretty similar weapon to the Metal Blade, which is what you would use to fight him in Mega Man 2. Alright, so we're on to the last section of the Rockman 2 Robot Masters, and it's the Shadow Man stage, which isn't all that difficult, in all honesty. So you want to climb down this. I think it's just wide enough to, if you climb down it, you won't die from touching those spikes. Alright, so these are new platforms, which are these breakaway platforms. You want to have quick feet on them. Now you can go through this huge long section where it's nothing but those platforms, or you can do what I do and just fly over it. It's taking, it's kind of, cheating your way out of it, but I like to do it as opposed to risking falling through those platforms. Alright, so we're on to, I think it's Woodman. Yep. And he's weak to needles. Sometimes they're nice like that, and they'll give you an energy pellet. Sometimes they're not. Okay, another one of these jumping sections. It's easier to just use the magnet missile on this section, since we have it now. Because you gotta deal with those jumping enemies, and they're
90% of all of the Wily robots or enemies are metal, so it will.
And they always seem to put them right near a hole.
Yeah. Be careful of that, because the knockback detection is kind of ridiculous in the Mega Man series. So you'll think you're not getting hit, but you're totally getting hit, and you'll migrate toward the hole, which is really cheap of them, but if you know what you're doing in this particular game, then you're fine.
Alright, so we're probably going to end up using an E-Tank on this, because we got to use the top spin against Heat Man.
You gotta put out those flames.
This-
Even though fanning them sounds like it would make them worse.
Yeah, this makes no sense. Alright, so we wasted an E-tank, but we got the job done. I always thought it was kind of a drag that you went through and fought all those robots again, and you didn't get any of their powers. Would have been cool just to have like 16 different weapons at your disposal. Because there's sections where the metal blade would really come in handy. That was a just grossly overpowered weapon in the first Mega Man game. I'm sorry, in Mega Man 2.
The first game we played.
Yep. So this is another obvious regional difference. Since this is the Japanese card, all the text is going to be in script as opposed to English. So this looks familiar. Now we're gonna go and fight Dr. Wily in space in his skull castle.
Because I mean, why not?
Yep, so there's... The thing about Wily's castle is with your weapons, there's no... You're not gonna refill in between levels, so you gotta kinda pick and choose what you're gonna use. You're gonna get a lot of power-ups and refills and whatnot, but just kinda conserve as best you can and just use what you absolutely have to. So stand on this ladder and then jump over here to grab this E-tank. So we got 3 E-tanks, we got 8 lives. We're actually in really good shape. There's another water level. You can use Rush Marine if you choose. I just jump through it. Not a very difficult section. Okay, so here's what I was talking about. Breakable barriers. So if you were to use the hard knuckle on this, you can bust through and get an extra life. Now we're actually pretty good on lives. So I'm gonna pass this and use it up here so I can refill the E-tanks. E-tanks are, I think, more useful than having lives, because then you can just continue on and have a full power bar. So just fire a knuckle at here and it'll destroy the barrier. Use the jet to go all the way to the top, and then you can just kind of trickle down from there. The hammer throwers. That guy's just easier to reach with the magnet missile. And we'll use the rush coil to get up to this platform here. Now there's another section right here with the disappearing blocks. Again, I cop out and use the rush jet to fly over it instead of running the risk.
Okay, so another regional difference here is this platform here, they fixed, I guess you're going to say, in the North American release, there's over where that just fell through would have been another platform with the 2 magnet tanks on it for the weapon section, there's a chance that you can get stuck in the respawn point. So it's just best to not need to do that.
Now this enemy makes no sense. He drops these, I guess they're turtles?
Turtles.
So if you damage the turtles, you end up damaging the weapon. And they just get progressively quicker. And this is really the only section where you're going to use the top spin, and it doesn't really hurt you to hit the turtles. So that's the top spin being used in the way I think it was intended to be used. Yeah, I know, but so yeah, take a minute here to refill your power-ups. Because like I said, there's no refill in between the stages in Wily's castle. Go up to the left here after this part, because then there's a chance to get an extra life. Alright, more of these bear traps.
Which is cool, because when you slide through it, it looks like Indiana Jones kind of thing. It looks like you're doing it there, but you're not. But the nice thing is, if you kill the little bees, the chance of having rapid drop is really high too, so falling behind is kind of a catch-22.
Yeah, that was bad. Alright, so we need all this here to avoid the bees.
But spray mag is going to protect that because so many enemies on the screen and
Alright, so here's another revisit enemy from Mega Man 1, which is the big yellow monster.
the yellow devil.
That's what it is. So keep an eye on just like the bottom two sections of the level, and that's where he's gonna come into play here. So it's easier now, so you can see which parts of him are moving, and you'll just need to jump over the bottom two rows. So just kind of keep an eye when that's gonna move.
Keep an eye. Feeling is one of those. You can only get hit with when the eye is open, so you want to make sure that you're using the hard knuckle because it can do the most damage in the least amount of time. I just thought it was cool when he did his second transfer that they all just kind of went together and just morph across the screen.
Yeah, there's no real way to avoid that. I mean, the only thing I can think of is to switch to Rush Jet real quick, get to the top of the screen. I don't know, I just take a hit. Alright, so the Yellow Devil number 2 has been defeated, and we're cruising right along here in Wily's castle. You can go up to the right here, and there's more of these breakable walls to boost up your weapon energy. You're gonna have to take care of this guy from afar. So let's switch to the hard knuckle. Break these barriers. And I think that's really the only thing we need to fill up. So take care of that quick.
So we're going up the Wily Tower, because you notice that they kind of described you each leg of the journey, how the level's going to look as you go. So we keep going up. The text that was unreadable before. It was basically saying that Dr. Lake, Dr. Wily, at one point were working together to create a weapon or something for humanity called Gamma. It was supposed to be this world-saving thing, and of course, in the true nature of Dr. Wily, he tricks Dr. Light and takes over Gamma and uses it to take over the world. So we're going to go try to stop him by taking on Gamma in the next stages.
Okay, now we got this, I don't know, Frogger type section. Same result if you don't get it right.
Yeah. Which, if you guys like, leave some comments for us. I mean, we are retro gamers, so no stranger to busting out the Atari. Play some Frogger, some Pitfall, some Pac-Man. If you guys want, just let us know what you're looking for. We can totally get that stuff in the queue.
Okay, so I'm going to explain this next section before I go in here because it's going to be over pretty quick. So as soon as we go in the door, there's going to be 3 rows of platforms, and there's going to be 3 teleporters. Basically, what comes out of the teleporters are clones of Mega Man, or Rockman in this case. There's going to be 3 of them. 2 of them are going to be false. 1 of them is going to be the real one. So he's weak to Search Snake, and he always spawns at the top. So we're going to make our way to the top as quickly as possible and just try and pepper him. And we missed it, so hopefully... Alright, we didn't guess right. Okay, usually it can be a 1-cycle kill, but we fared pretty well. Alright, so we're getting in pretty deep here. Again, you're going to want to fill up your weapon energy as much as you can. Stuff we're going to use anyway. Yeah.
Throwing garbage at you.
Trash bot.
Yeah. Ooh, Peter.
Yeah, we're actually in pretty good shape now. Got 10 lives, 80 tanks. I mean, it's almost scot-free.
Explain that to me.
Yeah, he threw a block after I killed him. So, as it was in Mega Man 2 with the robot refights, it's the same thing in this game as well. So we're gonna go through these 8 teleporters and we're gonna fight some robots. There's no way to really know. You got all the weapons. It really doesn't matter which order you go in. So we're gonna do the best we can here. And you'll get a large energy pellet every one that you defeat. Oh, great. Might as well use it. We got it, right?
There you go.
Hopefully he's going to be a lot easier, because we actually have the weapon he's weak to.
Snakes don't like needles.
Yeah, he was much easier to destroy this time, motherfucker. Alright, so Top Man was the robot that we started with, so you didn't see what he was weak to, which is actually a hard knuckle.
Punch him in the face.
I don't know why I'm having so much difficulty with timing his attack today, but whatever. Alright, on to Hard Man.
I was always thinking how his hard knuckles were smaller than your hard knuckles.
Yeah, like, he's got tiny hands, and, I mean, you throw like a...
Boxing glove.
Right, a Hellboy size knuckle. So we're making pretty quick work of these guys.
Why is it important to know what each guy's weak to?
Yep. Jump into it. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice.
Why am I not shooting? There we go.
Sometimes it's easier just to point blank him, you know, because you know it's going to hit him.
Yeah, but then again, like, then you're getting touched by him and you're losing way more damage. You're taking way more damage than you need to. I need spark power more than anything.
Yeah, that's perfect. But that's probably enough time.
Yeah, there's gonna be another weapon fill up in the next level.
Oh yeah, next one.
Alright.
Spoilers are everything.
Alright, so we made it to what appears to be the final level. So we're going to fill up our top spin. We're going to want our rush jet filled, and we're going to want our spark shot filled. And
Wastes.
those are wastes. I mean, that'd be great any other time, but now, since we have full energy. Alright, so I like to get all the way over to the left of the screen. This monstrosity is going to come crawling out. It's going to have a cannon underneath it. You're going to want to do just 4 quick hop shots to take it out. And then after that, switch to the rush jet and jump on it, and there's Dr. Wily. Another thing you can do is, this enemy's also weak to hard knuckle, but it forces you to be jumping and shooting him. Whereas you can just use the rush jet to stay on plane with him and fire at him.
Oh, so we totally beat Dr. Wily. Oh no, it was an elaborate ruse.
Yep, so just like the last game, the skull level isn't the last level. The second skull level is the last level. So we got one more fight left. And we're only going to really need Shadow Blade. And I'm going to fill up Search Snakes as a secondary weapon. But we're gonna need top spin more than anything. Once again, completely useless weapon. Well, I shouldn't say useless. It's powerful.
It's really powerful, and you guys will see how that utilizes it for the final boss. Which, as I mentioned before, over gamma. So we have to... put it
Okay, so
back
there's two parts to this final fight. First part is whatever that thing is.
A little mini guy.
Yeah, and then yeah, now it's time to fight Dr. Wily. So jump on this fist here just to platform up to here. And it should be, yep, just 2 quick topspin blasts and that's it.
Of all the weapons in the game that you beat the final boss with, it's the fucking top spin.
It's the fucking topspin. So that's the end of Rockman 3. And we're gonna get like a little epilogue here, and then you know, the ending to the game.
If you look at the computer in the background, this another little thing is, you see how it says IBN? Yes, that is a clever way to get around saying IBM from the computer company. And we're just gonna go back through all the robot masters that we fought.
Well, these are the robot masters from the first Mega Man. So it's Elec Man, and then that was Fireman. This is Bomb Man. I don't know why they're showing you this in the 3rd installment when these robots were nowhere to be found in this one.
Yeah, let's see where he came from.
Yeah.
And that's Roll, and you are Rock, so rock and roll. Yes, they did that. They went there. And then, of course, Breakman is his brother Proto Man, the original prototype robot of Dr. Light. And you can see Dr. Wily being all sneaky up in that tree there. Oh no, will there be another Mega Man? Of course there is. We always know the original 6 on the Famicom, NES. And we're going to try to address all of them in no particular order or style. Just know the ending credits and the cast music that Capcom is known for. Thanks for watching, and
Yep, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, Retro Takeout. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.